You know, one of the films that really caught my attention at CinemaCon a while back was Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. Now, one of the things I commented on was the trailers looked a little artsy, but I mean, listen, you got Jessie Buckley, you got Christian Bale, Jake Gyllenhaal, Maggie Gyllenhaal making her directorial debut. And I really liked the presentation they showed us at CinemaCon.
Yeah.
Now, I saw the movie last week, not a fan. I would not say I strongly disliked it, but it was a pretty kind of thing for me. Like, it tries to pose some really big philosophical questions like fate versus choice. The bride character at some point kind of faces its dilemma as like, I'm made for this, but do I choose this? Sort of thing is a part of it. And the whole kind of premise about starting with a disembodied spirit of whatever.
Mary Shelley.
I mean, it just ultimately, it was idea over execution for me. It was idea over execution. Great idea. Didn't quite know where to go with it. And by the end of it, I wasn't tremendously satisfied with it. Well, it just had... Now, I believe the production budget on this movie was $90 million. The marketing budget, they're saying, was $65 million. So that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's $155 million. Multiply that by 1.5, and your break-even point ends up being $232 million you need to break even on this film. We all know you make the biggest weekend you're going to have is your opening weekend. The Bride opened in third place with $7.2 million opening weekend. $7.2 million. Worldwide, and by the way, that's in over 3,000 theaters. Worldwide, it has made $13.5 million. It's made $13.5 million. It needs $232 million to break even. Rob, anything can happen. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I've got a hot take. I don't think The Bride's going to break even. Just big hot take. Now, Variety wrote an interesting article called 5 Reasons The Bride Was Dead on Arrival at the Box Office. And I'm going to go through some of these and tell you whether I agree or disagree with the points they raise. We're going to start off with the first one. An inauspicious release date. Basically pointing out that the original release date for The Bride was back in October 3rd, around Halloween time. A more choice release window for horror types of films. But we all know they moved the release to try to create more space between it and the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein movie. Kind of understandable. Do I think this would have made more money had it opened in October? Probably. And honestly, I think it might have benefited from opening close to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein because it would have put Frankenstein on the brain. Do I think it would have significantly increased the money it made? I do not. I'm thinking instead of a $7 million opening, maybe you have an $11 million opening. But I do think it maybe could have worked. So that's the one thing Variety points to. The other thing that they point to is too much Frankenstein, too little time. Again, I don't know that I agree with this.
No.
I don't think Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein necessarily hurt The Bride because it was such a radically different take and everything. So I get it. I get why they would mention it, but I don't necessarily agree. The other thing they mentioned is budget's gone wild. Now, listen. The budget of the film did not hurt its opening weekend box office. It just hurts that the opening weekend box office is such a far cry away from the budget. Again, a $90 million budget, not even counting the very important marketing part of that, which added, again, I think it was around $65 million to the marketing at any rate. So budget is the reason they're going to lose money, but budget isn't the reason not many people went to go see it. People don't care what the budget is when they're deciding to go see a movie. Another one is not a bad point. A press tour that forgot to sell the movie. You know, the prize gem of this movie is Jessie Buckley, but she has spent a lot of her time doing what she needs to do, going out doing the Oscar tour and doing all the Oscar bump for her nomination. And eventually she's going to win on Sunday for Hamnet. Maggie Gyllenhaal spent more time talking about the problems they had with the movie. It was not memorable. And listen, I pop up my YouTube feed, and a lot of times, like for instance, my YouTube feed is filled with Ryan Gosling doing this talk show, talking about Project Hail Mary. I see that stuff all the time. I never saw one thing about anybody doing any memorable interviews for The Bride. I didn't see one single Christian Bale interview. I'm not saying he didn't do any.
No,
I'm just saying
did.
they were never promoted enough or high profile enough that it came across anywhere. So they didn't do a great job with the press tour part of it. And ultimately, this is, I think, the biggest reason. Audience rejection. The audience gave it a C+ grade on CinemaScore. You don't often see a C+ grade on CinemaScore. That's pretty low for CinemaScore. That's really bad. I would throw in one more thing. Again, because the audience doesn't know if it's good or bad until they go see it. And nobody went to go give it a chance. The one thing that Variety didn't mention that I would throw in there is there were no trailers that were, for lack of a better term, Rob, 4-quadrant trailers. I get it. It's tough to make those for a movie that is clearly not a 4-quadrant movie, but we have seen other movies do stuff like that. Like they'll put out some populist trailers. A lot of the trailers, if not all of the trailers for The Bride, have been very artsy. I've liked them myself. Great. So you got me. But I think they also they should have put in the effort to make at least one kind of more standard populist trailer. Highlight Christian Bale, highlight some of the violence, highlight that sort of thing. Would it have made all the difference in the world? Probably not. We're probably talking about, instead of a $7 million opening, maybe a 12 or 13 or $14 million opening, which still wouldn't be good. But I think, Rob, the list of things to blame are long. And dare I say, if I was to reach back into the spirit of Three Amigos, I would say there is a plethora of reasons why this thing probably flopped. But anyway, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. March is a time when we celebrate the women in our lives and recognize everything they carry every single day. Women often take on a lot, and sometimes their own well-being gets pushed to the side. And it's a great reminder of how much women give to the people in their lives. So this month is a great time to pause and reflect on the roles that you carry and the pressures that can come with them. Therapy can be a helpful space to work through those challenges, create balances, and set healthy boundaries so you can take care of yourself too. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp connects people with licensed therapists who follow a strict code of conduct. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 6 million people served worldwide, BetterHelp has an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on 1.7 million client reviews. They also match you with a therapist based on a short questionnaire, and if your first match isn't the right fit, you can switch to another from their recommendations. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. Rob, I never expected this movie to do great, but I didn't expect to see a $7 million opening weekend, especially on the same weekend that a lot of people went up to go see Hoppers. Hoppers had the biggest opening weekend for a Pixar original film in almost 10 years. So good for it. But anyway, Rob, your take on this. What did you think?
Well, John, I was very excited to see this movie. I was excited like you since last CinemaCon. I thought the trailers and I thought the lead up to it. And when I saw this movie, I really didn't like it. Now, Maggie Gyllenhaal's first film, The Lost Daughter, I think got 3, maybe, Academy Award nominations or something.
I liked it.
I did too. But that was a $5 million movie. I thought that this film, and this is, I'm not throwing shade at Maggie Gyllenhaal, but she was way out of her league on this one. This movie needed Ken Russell to direct it. It needed to be some kind of, before the movie started, they showed a trailer, because we saw it in IMAX. They showed a trailer for Ken Russell's Tommy from the 70s, the rock opera that The Who wrote. That's this total phantasmagoria. If you haven't seen it, it's an amazing film. And I'm like, I was all prepped, like, how cool is it? They're showing the rock opera Tommy trailer because they're showing it in IMAX before The Bride. And when I saw The Bride, it just didn't know what it wanted to be. First, I thought the script was weak. I thought it had 45 different ideas all competing. And there was all these really interesting ideas that were underdeveloped. And I understood it was trying to be this sort of, in a way, feminist anthem. And yet it was a horror film. And at first, it was really like, when you first met Christian Bale, he was kind of like the sad sack. I've been alive for 100 years. It was one thing. This movie was not fun to watch. I was watching this movie waiting for it to get fun. This movie should have been fun. It's The Bride, exclamation point. I kept waiting for that movie. And it wasn't like that. And it was, it went around, it didn't have scope. I think that Maggie Gyllenhaal, what she needed was somebody to help her come in and collaborate with a writer that could have really amped up the material and refined her ideas. And the fact is, she had way too much money. This movie should not have been $80-90 million.
Never should have been at this budget.
This movie should have been made for $25 million. It should have been it had A24 energy in it. I mean, look, the sets are lavish, but everybody was acting like they were in a different movie. Every time they added a new character to the film, they were from a different movie. It seemed like they were coming in. There was no cohesion here. This film needed, again, Maggie Gyllenhaal has made one movie. This was a film that was asking, and look, I give her all the credit in the world for shooting for the fences, but her grasp was too, she didn't have the reach, and I feel bad. And when I saw that when it was over, this movie made me feel bad because I wanted it to be so much better, and it had elements. It just didn't work.
Yeah, the best way I know how to think about The Bride, and again, there are things about it I enjoyed. By the way, Jessie Buckley, it's one thing to give a great performance in a great movie like she does in Hamnet. It's another thing to give a great performance that is very recognizable as a great performance in a not so great movie. The way I kind of said it to somebody was that it was all ingredients without a recipe. That's kind of what The Bride felt like. Now, listen, I'm going to continue to watch Maggie Gyllenhaal as a director with great interest.
If she ever gets to direct again.
She will. She absolutely will. I don't know that she'll be given a $100 million movie to move forward with on this. But yeah, it's really a shame because, again, it was just, what you said, it just needed to bake longer in the scripting phases, because it's just, there's so many concepts and ideas and themes they try to throw in there that never gives you a sense of, there are ideas and themes that seem like they were there just to be there, not because they added to the overall shape of the tapestry they were trying to put together. And it made it feel disjointed.
I mean, the central conceit that you meet Mary Shelley in the afterlife.
Yeah, right from the get-go, I never thought that was necessary.
And then, but if they had done it in a different way, like Mary Shelley in the afterlife was kind of like Salieri in Amadeus, when you would keep coming back to her and she's filling in but when she's actually possessed, so you have the undead bride brought back to life that also has the disembodied essence of Mary Shelley in her, and in some scenes Jessie Buckley, in a brilliant performance, was switching between Mary Shelley and this other woman in mid-scene, and I was like, well, how's that working? I get it. So she's undead. So she was possessed by the soul of, it would have been interesting if she was Mary Shelley the whole time. I'm watching this going, what am I supposed to take away from this? It was aggravating to watch.
Yeah. And I'm still not sure what the answer to that is.
I don't either,
to be honest with you. And the result was a $7 million opening for a movie that needs about $230 million to break even. This is going to be a hard one for everybody to swallow. At any rate, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you surprised? Listen, I wasn't expecting huge things, but I wasn't expecting to see $7 million for it either. What do you attribute the lack of success and the lack of people being interested in going to go see it? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.